What's going on, guys and girls? Brent Sibley, your favorite Instagram lawyer. And today I'm going to talk about a wonderful settlement that we recently obtained for a client. But more importantly, I'm going to talk about something very important that happened during the negotiation process of this settlement that led us in the direction of finding out some very important information that is helping us continue the case. So we have the pleasure of representing a very nice young man. He's a wonderful client, and he was rear-ended recently, and he suffers from some pre-existing conditions which made him very fragile. He had some spine problems before he was rear-ended, so he did get rear-ended, and we were able to find out that there was a $250,000 policy with Progressive for the person that rear-ended him. So he proceeded to get his medical treatment. He found out that he had a pretty severely herniated disc in both his neck and his back. So he went ahead and he got a surgery to fix the herniated disc in his neck, the cervical. He had an ACDF, which is an anterior cervical discectomy and fusion. It's a very common procedure, and in the neck region, it's actually very low risk. So we were able to get him set up with a great surgeon down here in the South Florida area, got him the surgery, went ahead and did our demand package with Progressive, where we basically said, this guy's extremely hurt. Your policy limits are $250,000. We hereby, demand that you tender your policy limits $250,000 if you want to protect your insured under the policy that purchased this $250,000 of insurance from you, Progressive, and we will give you a release, potentially, very important, if you're willing to give us the full amount of the policy limits in the case. Now, here's where the case gets interesting, because in our demand letters, whenever we're settling a case like this for the policy limits, what we do is we require the person who caused the crash, which we call the tortfeasor, or the insurance company would call this person the insured on the policy. We basically say, here's an affidavit that if we're going to make this deal with you, you must have the tortfeasor, your insured, Progressive, take this affidavit and fill it out, get it notarized, and swear under penalty of perjury that everything is true. Now, why is this so important? Because two reasons. It makes them talk about how much money they have and where their financial assets might be, so it helps us understand if this person has the ability to pay more than the policy limits, which is very rare. But second and third, it makes them talk about whether or not they were working, which means if they were working at the time, the company that they worked for could also be responsible for the crash. And in those situations, it's very important, because if it's a company vehicle or they're on the company time, usually there's going to be a general liability policy that covers the company in much higher policy limits. So we'll be able to make additional recovery once we find that information out. But in this situation, why it was so important was because the insured tortfeasor saw the section in the form that requires them to disclose any additional policies of insurance that they had. And sure enough, in this case, there was an additional $250,000 of insurance that came to light by virtue of our negotiation provisions that we require the negligent tortfeasor that causes the crash. So not only did we successfully get the tender of the policy limits of the $250,000, but now we've uncovered an additional policy from a separate insurance company. They may not have even known, no one may have even told them about this case at all up until now, but of course you can imagine we have already spoken to them now. Now they fully know, and now we're in a position where we may be able to collect that entire $250,000 for this lovely client of ours, because he's had a surgery, and we believe his case is worth, obviously, above the policy limits of the $500,000. So, this is very important, because this is one of those things that, if you hire a lawyer who is not a specialist of personal injury cases, that hasn't done hundreds and thousands of these over their career, this is the kind of thing potentially that could be missed. Now, this is part of our protocols. This doesn't get missed in our firm, Robert, because this is all we do. We're extremely focused and highly specialized on this area of law. So because we have the right forms, our staff is highly trained, we don't close a case without this affidavit being on file. We have that. We've uncovered an additional $250,000 of coverage, and ultimately that could be the difference in this case between settling the case for $250,000 versus settling the case for $500,000. So I had a meeting with this client this morning. I explained to him everything. Actually, we did the entire meeting on Zoom, and it was recorded. So hopefully we will be able to, with his permission, of course, he will see this because he does follow me. With his permission, we will be able to chop some of that up and post it for an upcoming video. I've been working on doing some Zoom meetings with some clients now for the last couple of months, and I really love it. It makes it so easy to record and capture unique moments speaking with clients. Of course, we can't publish any of it until the cases are over, and super exciting. So wanted to give you guys a little brief new settlement update and also kind of a moral to the story. Hope everybody's doing well with this crazy rain. It's about 4 o'clock, so you know what that means. About time to pour. So get home, get safe, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.